Welcome back to What the Fertility. Today is exciting because it's just Kat and I. We are bringing it back to our first episode, how we just had just us on, and we're excited just to kind of break down some adoption stuff. Both Kat and I have our different stories with adoption, so we're excited to kind of just break it down and share it all with you. So welcome back.
Yeah, welcome back. And I sound wonderful. So, getting over my first ever COVID experience after 2.5 years of not getting
No,
it.
of course,
Um,
while you're pregnant too.
I
Like,
know. Well, I'm pregnant with COVID, so that's actually been interesting, but it's not been that bad. And I'm actually super thankful it's just Amanda to judge me, and I guess all of you
right.
guys.
It's so funny. But yeah, well, I'm sorry that you don't feel well. That stinks. But we basically, this episode is really mostly just going to be kind of talking about embryo adoption. Kat has her story with adoption. Obviously, it's not complete, but she can kind of talk a little bit about that. But we really wanted to, we've had some questions about, adoption. A lot of people are interested in it. So I think it's a good place to start.
Yeah, and before we even jump into that, I mean, gosh, what are we? Is this like our 25th episode?
I think so. This is
That's
so fun.
so crazy. We've done so, like, I'm just so proud of us. Like, in our first 6 months, we're so funny. We share everything. So, like, I have to do, like the two-factor authentication. Like, anytime I want to look at something, Amanda has to like be on her phone. But
I
this
love it.
podcast, I'm just so impressed. We've been live for 6 months and
It's so
we have
crazy. That's half a year.
half a year, which would make sense, right? If we were planned to do 52 episodes
I
and
mean,
we've
I feel
only
like
missed
we need a party.
yeah, we've only missed one episode, which was it Memorial? No, I don't know. We've missed only one Monday and we have over 15,000 listeners. Like you guys,
What?
yeah, it's so crazy. And then the retention rate's even crazier because my husband was like, "Well, do they really listen to the whole
Oh my gosh,
thing?"
stop. That's
And I'm like,
amazing.
"Yeah, like we have a 79% retention rate. So they're listening basically 80% of those 15,000 are listening to over 75% of the episode.
That's so crazy. Like,
So
what?
cool.
I mean, we're so thankful. Like, the fact that anyone even wants to listen to us talk.
Yeah, I know.
It's so crazy.
Did you see the DM this morning? It was like, so we get all these requests, and I need to today go through some of them. And sometimes when you get requests with people you're not friends with, they kind of sit
In
in the
like,
wrong
yeah,
bucket. But I
yeah.
just thought it was so sweet. She wrote us this super long thing about
I
just
haven't
like
seen it yet.
how she says, "Hi there, I've been keeping up with your podcast for a few months now and wanted to thank you for sharing your personal stories as well as others on their difficult fertility journey. I live in Charlotte and your podcast was recommended by a friend since we've been trying to have our first for about a year now. We just found out we lost our first pregnancy and I'm beyond grateful for the raw and real information you and all of your guests have shared. As stressful as this whole process is, I'm so thankful I have an idea of what I can expect during this time. I felt well informed to ask questions and advocate for myself and my husband during this time with our provider. Please keep up the wonderful work supporting people everywhere in their journeys." And she goes on, which is like, how amazing.
Oh, that is, I mean, that is literally why we started this,
Yeah,
honestly.
I was like, perfect timing to get that because I'm like gonna
Oh,
struggle to get on today, and
yes.
it
Oh,
was
oh,
just
I
sweet.
love that.
And I know I've had guests actually reach out, and I haven't sent this to you, Amanda, but like, remember Kate with the endometriosis,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she reached out and said, and I don't know if you guys know this either, but she is actually due in like 7, 8 weeks, which
So crazy.
is crazy because she
So
struggled for
exciting.
years,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
had the laparoscopy, and got pregnant the next month, which
Yeah, I
is
love
just
it.
so. Anyways, somebody listened to the episode, some random person that like across the country did the same, procedure and then followed the same method. What was the
So,
method called? Do you remember?
no, I know. I obviously I know what you're talking about, but I
I
can't
can look
remember
it.
right
Oh,
now.
NAPRO. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it.
And now that girl got pregnant after several years. So it's like the
Wait,
podcast
that's
is like,
so cool that
yeah,
you
it's
like
like
followed
bringing
it to a T.
babies, and yeah, and then okay, we'll get back to adoption, but the last thing, which I feel like you and I still need to talk about offline, is we have our next, not this episode but the next recording, we have an OBGYN that's going to come on and talk to us all things about how the overturning of Roe versus Wade is going to affect like
Perfect.
the
Oh, yeah,
OBGYN clinic and
for sure.
IVF. And it's such weird timing because we scheduled this like 2 months ago.
Yeah, no, this is such perfect timing. And I know, I mean, just being in all the like fertility Facebook groups and like all of that, like people, I mean, they want to know answers. They are upset, obviously, and they have so much to say. And so I think this is going to be really, really good.
It'll be really great. She's actually one of my OBs here in Charleston, and just for
Oh,
like
cool.
legal purposes, we'll probably
Yeah.
keep some of that information out.
Yeah. Yeah.
But she's kind of spearheading the groups down here of trying to get the questions. And with my job, I'm working with our ops council and I'm working with like medical malpractice insurance companies to get things changed and in writing for, emergent cases, and how it's going to affect ectopic pregnancies, molar pregnancies, which is something I hadn't thought about. Like,
Yeah.
you present with a molar pregnancy, which is can be cancerous, and so the best line of treatment is chemotherapy. You can't do chemotherapy if you're pregnant
Well,
for nine
pregnant.
months. So
Yeah.
kind of getting into that. There's just a handful of things that she's already addressed with me that I'm excited to kind of touch on. So
Ah,
let's hopefully do like the Q&A for that one. I think,
oh, for sure. I think a lot of people have lots to ask.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well,
That's exciting.
yeah, let's jump into
Yay.
adoption.
Yay. Well, as most of you, if you've listened to our first episode, basically adoption is a huge part of my story, and how we have our son. So we did embryo adoption, and it is like so crazy how it even all happened. I mean, I know like we've shared our whole story, but it's actually really funny. So someone that my mother-in-law works with is has like reached out to me numerous times, and we're meeting next week because she wants to do embryo adoption. So she and her husband, like, they have like all these questions and everything, and she's like really interested in like how ours happened, and not necessarily it works this way for everyone. I mean, I literally found a woman through Facebook of how we got our embryos, which is still
Yeah,
so crazy.
which I just feel like it was even more like meant to
Meant to be.
be.
Oh, for sure.
And like we didn't mention this, but we've already recorded this episode and lost it. So so
Love
we're
this
just
run. So round two
which is so great. The only episode we've ever lost is
is
the
the
one
one
we
that we
did.
did. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, if it's gonna happen, I'd rather it be us for sure.
Right. So embryo adoption. So basically, gosh, it's been so long since we recorded back in December. I mean, I'm not sure what you've shared with listeners before, but I know we've gained a
Yeah,
ton of new ones. So do you want to kind of start like how you even came across embryo adoption?
yeah.
Um,
So yeah, so it's still so weird, and I think I like talked about it last time like we recorded about just our whole story. But basically, my sister was watching the Today Show, and it's so crazy to me that like that's how we found out about it. Because I mean, I had been going through IVF treatments and like seeing a fertility clinic, and like no one had mentioned up to this point like embryo adoption. We kind of briefly discussed like possibly like an egg donor, but never like actual embryos. And so my sister was just like watching the Today Show, and this like family was talking about embryo adoption. And so she like immediately called me and was like, "Oh my gosh, do you know what this is? Have you heard of this? You need to look into it."
that's
Like
so
literally what?
crazy.
So
That's so
crazy.
crazy.
So of course, being me, type A, as I think Kat and I mentioned probably every single episode, how we are so like detail oriented and everything and research everything, that I immediately like started Googling, and I was like, what is embryo adoption? This is a thing. Like I can carry this baby, I can like breastfeed, I can do all the things that like I was like really, really yearning for to be able to like have through natural pregnancy. Um, and so then quickly I asked like our IVF clinic and started asking questions to our doctors, and everything was like a long wait. And after going through it, not to like discourage anyone, because like it's how traditional adoption is too. Like it's a long wait, it's a process, right? Like it's nothing is like immediate.
Yep.
And the same thing with like the clinics was, it was like a 2-year wait for like tested embryos. And there's like obviously untested and tested embryos in clinics like all over the world.
And so I think so embryo, and you'll have to educate me on this. So embryo adoption and embryo donation are exchanged. Those terminologies are like exchanged super I
Yeah,
mean, I do it all the
so
time too.
for sure. I say it as well. So technically, yeah, like I think they just interchange. So I think it just kind of depends who you talk to because I mean, I technically had them donated to me, but it's like still a true adoption because I had to get like legal contract, like I had to get
Yeah.
contract
Yeah.
where like so I still had to go through it. So I think the term just kind of
So I guess my question was because I know you were talking about a clinic, and then we'll get into like you actually had them donated through a family you met on Facebook. So
yeah.
do you know if you're in a clinic, do you have to pay for those embryos through like the clinic program, or are those donated and then it's the same cost?
I believe, and it may differ,
Per clinic.
obviously from every clinic, from how it was perceived on our end here in Charlotte from our clinic was that these embryos are donated to the clinic. So the clinic has them there and then you're on like a wait list. And then when basically it's like your turn, you then like have those embryos and then you would still pay for like the IVF side of it, like the transfer, the medicine, all of that. And so then you're
Yeah.
just for that.
And then just to like even clarify even further, like people that haven't been through IVF, it's really the back end of IVF. You're not
Yep.
having to do the egg retrieval
So, yep.
and all those stem shots that are like scary in the beginning. You have to do the PIO shots, but
Yeah, so I did those for 13 weeks, but
jeez, oh my
yeah, so
goodness.
you'll still do the all the medicine, you'll still have to go in, for monitoring and do all of that. And then yeah, you just do the transfer procedure process and then you'll go and just like obviously do your betas, but you don't have to do the egg retrieval, which is
Yeah.
nice.
So you got me, gosh, I was all into embryo adoption donation. Like you got me
Yeah,
into all these Facebook groups.
yeah.
Do you remember the name of the one that you matched in? The
Yeah, so I actually just that woman I was just talking about, I just added her into it. It's huge now, which is so crazy. Like before, I feel like when I was in it, it wasn't as big, but now there's like 7,000 members in it. But it's literally just called Embryo Adoption and Donation Support Group. So basically all of these women like are telling their stories too. So it's not even necessarily like a match support group, but people, go and comment on there and say, "Hey, I have 3 remaining embryos. If anyone is interested," but then they're also like, "Hey, I'm pregnant from our embryo adoption." So they kind of have all different like things that they talk about in this group.
Yeah, and you put me in it, and I was like very serious about it. And then my reasoning was I thought I couldn't hold the pregnancy, so that's why we kind of went the traditional adoption route. But
Yep.
I matched with a family within the week. Maybe it
Yeah.
was a couple. Maybe it was a couple weeks, and we can go into like how all that works because you have a unique situation, and so a lot of times like the woman that's if they depending like if they have 14 embryos, they're
Yep.
likely not going to give it to one family. So
Yeah.
that was kind of my situation where she was splitting it up. I think it was like 4 or 5 families, and I
Yeah.
was
It
like a
gets
little
tricky.
hesitant.
It definitely gets tricky, like the more embryos people have, especially if, the
Yeah,
the recipient doesn't want all 14,
but
but they
yeah,
do
but
have to
like
break it up.
yeah, but just even, and we'll hear your story in detail, but just even that, like those private Facebook groups, like compared to 2.5 years, we
Mhm.
both kind of got some hits within that first month, which was really
Yeah, it
neat.
is, and I know it sounds like almost even like Craigslisty, like it sounds like it could be sketchy, but I promise, like it's not. Like there is definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm living proof of that we adopted 3 through
You
Facebook.
are. And the girl that matched with me, oh my gosh. Like when I say match, but the girl that reached out to me, we're still friends. She found me on
So
Instagram.
sweet.
She supported my whole IVF cycle, like because
Yeah,
we started exploring this prior to our transfer, and now she supported me through my pregnancy. Like it's
love that.
I hear the Craigslist thing, but at the same time, it's almost cooler because you can dive into their photos from like 7 years
Oh, I
ago,
hardcore stalked.
and
Like
you can see their
when
kids.
oh, everything. You got
Yeah.
to see, so I mean, yes, for sure, and I'll go into ours, but like, oh yeah, I stalked hardcore for
Yeah,
sure.
which
I was
is
like,
like
I need to know you're not like crazy and
yeah, which so like that brings us to the point of like what do you get? Because did you ever even get to look at a profile through the clinic or no? So you basically
so
they
so ours is a little bit different because this family used a sperm donor. So the egg donor is who like we have an actual relationship with, but the sperm donor, he is anonymous. So my situation is a little bit more different than I guess it would be if you just like matched with a like a couple that has embryos that they're just donating. So you would know both of them. So for ours, we did get like the sperm donor profile from the clinic that they like actually created the embryos at.
So let's start with like exactly what happened. So
Okay. Yeah, yeah. Sorry.
your sister saw it on TV. She reached out to
Yeah,
you. You immediately
yeah.
found Facebook. And did you post or how did that
I
work?
did. So yeah, so I literally immediately, like I said, I researched. I was talking to the IVF clinic and I was like, oh my gosh, 2 years sounds miserable after going through years already of fertility. I wanted a baby so desperately. We already had started looking into traditional adoption. Again, it was like that long wait. And so I was like, okay, well, let me just like start looking at support groups on Facebook, seeing like other people's stories if they have any like tips, advice, tricks, anything I can do. So I found this one exact one that I just said, the embryo adoption and donation one. And I basically just posted like, hey, I am like thinking of possibly doing embryo adoption. Like if anyone has any like advice for me or really anything they want to share, just let me know. Like I don't know anything. Like as basic and generic as that. And I'm not kidding. From that one post, my entire life changed,
That's
which
so
is so
cool.
great. Like I feel like that's in itself is just like totally a God thing that it was
It,
meant to be. Like
it
he was
really
meant
is.
to be
Like
our
Facebook
son.
truly changed your life.
Literally. Like what?
And can continue because you have multiple. So like
Oh
Ben's
yeah.
siblings,
Yep.
like genetic siblings, you still have the option to transfer those.
Yep. So, kind of fast forward. So then we get a message literally within a couple days. And it is like we had people commenting, just like saying all sweet things, advice.
Well, it's
And then,
overwhelming too, though, right? Because aren't there like hundreds of
oh, people
comments?
flooded for
Yeah.
sure. Which I mean, yes, is great, but then of course, that's a lot to read as you're trying to figure out even like what embryo adoption is and
Yeah.
all of that. But yeah, so we got a Facebook message. And basically, she was just like, hi, like, we have been looking for a family to donate like our remaining embryos to. Would you like want to have like a talk to see if it's like a good match on both ends? If you're serious, like, I have like a questionnaire type thing that I would love to send to you. And like, if we feel like the answers like meet like what we're looking for, then we'd like set up a Zoom call. And I literally looked at Chris. I mean, so I'm very much like 100% yes, like don't even really look into the details. I'm just like, yes, let's do it. And Chris is definitely more of like the rational one of like, okay, like let's actually like fact check this.
Yeah.
Is this like woman serious? All that. And he did, and we did, and we answered the questionnaire, and she was like, yes, like you on paper are like exactly what we're looking for. Like, let's set up a Zoom call. And everything happened really fast. Like
And
things moved quickly.
and you talked about this in our deleted episode that we can't find. And it really relates over to traditional adoption too. Like when you were filling out that questionnaire, I remember you saying you were like, we were as honest. We were so freaking honest because
Yeah.
it's for the child. You can fib, and same with traditional adoption. You can write what
Yeah.
you think that the birth mother is going to want to read,
Yeah.
or the family's going to want to read. But like, it's so important to be just so honest and
Oh my gosh,
transparent.
yes. Well, because so for her specifically, and it is different for every like family that's
Yeah.
donating, if they want, an open or closed adoption, semi-open, whatever it may be. And she had told us from the beginning that she wanted an open one and like a semi-open. I guess it's really just fully open at this point. But so like if it's not a good fit, like if I'm lying on a questionnaire, like she's gonna know that, and that's gonna then change the whole relationship moving forward if we do
Yeah.
get picked, because I mean she'll be in our life.
And for the sake of the child.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. So yep, we were completely honest. And I mean she asked questions about like where we stand with our like politics,
Yeah.
religion. I mean, all of the things that is in your like normal everyday life of how you would raise a child. I feel like that's a huge,
Yeah,
huge
it's the same for traditional adoption. I mean, like I know we had to say no to one case because the mom was like, could you promise you would send them to private school from kindergarten to 12th grade? And that's just not something that my husband and I believe in. And it's
yeah.
like, no, we can't. And so
Yeah.
we were completely excluded from that case, which is fine. That's
Yeah,
fine because you're, like you said, an open adoption, you have this relationship with that that
Yep.
family now, and
Yep.
how, like, if you're gonna lie up front, that's just not even a good setup for
Exactly.
life.
So yeah, so we were like completely honest. She liked our answers, and we then jumped on a Zoom call with them. And this is like right before Christmas. So talk about how holidays are stressful in itself. And we're
The
literally,
emotions.
oh, just the emotions running high. I'm obviously so nervous because I'm like meeting this like couple. But basically we have, yeah, like a Zoom call. She meets us. They live in Michigan, so not here, so we couldn't do it in person because we're in Charlotte. And we have a conversation. She asked us a bunch of more questions, kind of bouncing off of the original questionnaire. And she then is saying that she like still has a couple other people in the running. And of
Ah,
course, stomach drops then.
that's
Because I'm like,
terrible.
no, I thought it would just maybe be us left or whatever. But there was two other couples that she was still looking into. And this was the day before Christmas Eve. Like it's literally the best day ever because you'll see why. So we hang up. It was really well. She was like, okay, after the holidays are all over, after New Year, like we will give you a call and let you know what like if it's yes to you or no to you and what will happen. So which of course stinks because now I'm like waiting 2 weeks of like
Yeah.
not even 2 weeks, but like a week of just like agonizing like over the whole
Yeah.
situation. Well, literally 10 minutes go by. So my in-laws like are here and we like ran upstairs because we like made sure like no one was like in the Zoom like call and everyone was super quiet and picture like trying to make it as like picture perfect as like possible. And I feel like you can even relate to that of like when they do like a home study, like you want
Yes.
everything perfect,
Oh,
right?
it
That's
was
like
embarrassing. Yes.
yeah,
Like,
but like you think of everything and I'm like, oh my gosh, what if like the blinds don't look good enough? Should we move to this couch? Like, what should I like? Yeah.
yeah.
So you overthink it, the whole thing. And they're not even caring. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
even look at that stuff.
I know. We had like cleaned like under cabinets and stuff, and the guy didn't even go upstairs.
Yeah, right. It's like we do it in our head. So we make it so much worse for ourselves. But when you're this desperate for a child, like I mean,
Yeah.
it happens. Like this
Yeah.
is how we
I think everyone listening could likely relate to that.
Oh, for sure. So anyway, we run upstairs. We're like telling my in-laws how it all went. And all of a sudden I like look down at my phone and like we're getting a call from them. So I'm like, oh, we have to, and it was a Zoom call again. Like it
Oh,
wasn't like a normal call. Like it was a like FaceTime.
I know the lighting's bad. You
I'm
and
like,
Chris are
so I'm literally
upstairs.
like, I'm screaming at Chris. And I actually hope they listen to this one day because they have no idea about this. But I'm like screaming at Chris. I'm like, run downstairs. We have to go back to the same spot. So we're like sprinting. But he's like, answer the phone. Like, you're gonna miss
Like, you
it.
just
Answer the
sit in
phone.
that spot
I'm
for
just
your life.
literally sitting there. So so we go back and we're sitting in the chair. I finally answer and I'm just like, hi, like acting, like I didn't just scream at Chris and freaking out, but it's fine. And so they then are like, so we actually made our decision, like we already made up our mind, and we just didn't think you needed to wait like through the holidays. And so
Oh,
already I'm like,
at
I'm sorry.
that point, were you thinking, like, at that point where you're like, oh, we didn't get chosen? Or you kind of,
So I mean, they were smiling. So
yeah.
I like immediately in my head first was like when they called right back, I was like, oh, this is probably bad news. But then when I saw them and they were like smiling, and like then I was like, oh my God, are we
Gosh.
about to get picked? Like, is this really happening?
That has to feel so good because they clearly had zero reservations.
Oh, zero. And so they like immediately just were like, yeah, we couldn't wait to tell you. Like, so then they picked us and everything just moved. I mean, I sobbed on the phone, like sobbed. It
Oh.
was the best news of my entire life.
I mean, I just remember, and we'll get into your story, but like I remember you had a failed IVF cycle, like where you just
Yeah,
didn't get any embryos, and then the next thing I know, you're like pregnant. I was like,
literally.
what just happened?
Yeah, I mean, it all like happened so fast. So like, yeah, we had all of our embryos every time. We never got to transfer anything because we had 2 rounds of IVF, and they just every time were abnormal embryos, and so they were missing all different chromosomes. There was no like
And you did
relation.
back to back, so that was like a whole year of IVF, and then like right at the last week of the year, you get these
Literally.
donated
So our
copies
failed
from the
one was
family.
in like
Yeah,
October, November timeframe and then we like announced like, hey,
it didn't
we're
work.
gonna do traditional adoption. We started looking at that. And then like I literally had a call like a week before with like an agency talking about traditional adoption.
Yeah.
And then it all just like moved very fast.
Because of your sister and it was the Today Show, right?
Literally the Today Show. Like, thank you, Today Show.
That's so
You literally changed
cool.
our lives.
Okay, so you have the best holiday season, and I'm sure like a
Yes.
week goes by, or do you
Which at this time we were
immediately?
told too, which there's 3 embryos and we knew the genders. So like I
Yes.
literally knew the genders of our babies
Oh gosh, that's
before we even
so
like
cool.
transfer. I mean, I know through IVF, obviously people do that all the time, but like just
But
through I don't know, it's just so cool. I was like
it
at
is.
Christmas, I was like, well, I know what we're having.
Yeah, that's so
Yeah,
cool.
so
Okay,
cool.
so then you must have done everything so fast because
Yeah.
basically you got pregnant in March, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So I immediately like so we're in Charlotte, the clinic is in Michigan. So I knew things were going to be like harder to navigate because obviously the clinic is not here. And my clinic here, which may be different for other people, but they will not let you do monitoring there unless the embryos are there.
That's super common from my experience of calling around Charleston because I called like 4 different clinics because the girl that we had matched with, obviously her embryos weren't at these clinics. She didn't live in
Yeah.
South Carolina. And they were like, no, like we won't even transfer or monitor unless you go through our donation procedure.
Oh, wow. So like ours here said if we transferred the embryos from Michigan to Charlotte, then they would do my monitoring, do actually the transfer procedure and
That's
do
nice.
everything. But I couldn't like
You
at
want to
this
move them.
point, I was so scared to like do anything because this was like,
Yeah.
the first time we've had like really good news. And so I was like, we'll go to Michigan. I'm not
Well,
taking
gosh,
any
it's the first
chances.
time you have an embryo. Like you,
Yes.
dang, I didn't even think
Literally.
about
I
that.
mean, obviously we had gotten pregnant naturally after
Yes.
like a year trying, and so we've like I've seen a positive pregnancy test, and then we lost that baby, but this was the first time like we had a healthy embryo because they
Yeah.
were tested. I made sure of that. That was another huge thing that we wanted to make sure of is that they were all tested embryos and they were healthy babies.
Oh.
And yeah, so yeah, I was like, no, we're going to Michigan. We're not going to.
And so to like, so okay, so on the 23rd or 24th of December, right? You guys get the call, you say yes. So what happens next? Do you get a lawyer? Does she have a lawyer?
We both got lawyers.
Okay.
So yeah, we both got a lawyer. She got one that was like local to her in Michigan. I got one here. And basically they write up a contract. And I mean, at this point also like before we're making things legal, like I want to see paperwork of like knowing, the
She
embryos
has
are
everything.
actually like tested and they're healthy. And she sends me all the information of the sperm donor. So we get to see his profile. And it's, which is really cool. We got to like hear his voice as an adult. So that was really cool to hear. But yeah, we got to see all of her. She sent me paperwork on her. So I knew like her health history. But yeah, then we hired a lawyer on both sides. They basically write it up just like stating exactly what she wanted in there. So like it's gonna differ again with every couple of what they're like wanting. For her, she wanted at least once a year a meeting in person and then like photo updates throughout the year. And that was kind of it, as long as the only other thing she wanted was to make sure that we used all the embryos and that we didn't like discard of them.
Yeah, and you're pretty much like I feel like yours has been above and beyond communication than that.
Oh yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
we are in like a Facebook group with, so there is 3 families. So she had created 6 embryos. 2 went to another family, 3 went to us. So there's 3 families in all that were in a Facebook group. And so they're like full biological siblings, which is so
So
fun. So
cool.
Ben has 3 sisters right now, which
What's
is really
the
fun.
coolest of all of that is that they all resulted in live births. Like
Yes,
that's
literally. So we're 3 for 3 right now.
wow.
Yeah, which is so crazy.
And you have 2 left,
Have
right?
2 left. Yes. So we're
Oh,
exciting. I know we're excited. We'll definitely transfer it, I think, within the next like year and a half, I
Oh
think
my
we'll start.
gosh, you've never said that.
Yeah.
Because whenever you post, it's so cute. Like my friends that like just know me personally and follow our stuff, they'll see like the What the Fertility Instagrams. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, is Amanda already gearing up for another transfer? And I'm like,
No.
don't think so.
Like,
Not
no,
that
no,
I'm
no,
aware
no,
of.
no, no. My goal is, so I turn 30 next year, and I and I know
So
that
young.
sounds crazy of like I want to be able to go like away out of the country, go to 30 and not have to like worry about shots, or
Yeah.
I want to be able to drink
Wait, did
realistically.
you say next year or this year?
So next year I turn 30.
Okay, you're so young.
Yeah, sorry, baby
I
over here.
literally am having our daughter on October 1st or in that time frame, and
Yeah,
I'm 31, and
yeah.
then my birthday is literally 6 weeks later. So I'm just like, I can say I had my first
Good.
kid at 31,
100% you can.
but
Perfect.
it's really 32. But okay,
It's fine. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's still all
it
young.
doesn't. Yeah, I mean, gosh, nowadays.
Yeah, it can happen at any point.
Yes.
So, but
So
no, I wanted to do it after I turn 30. So when I get back from wherever I go, whether it's,
oh, that's perfect.
I don't know where I'm going, but definitely going to plan something. And I want to start the like transfer procedure and process for all that and get it all geared up when we get home. And my birthday's in October. So
That's
that's the
awesome.
goal.
Oh, so you have like October of next. Okay, but gosh, we're already in July. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so like a
So
year.
I turn
Yeah.
29 in a couple months. And then,
Yeah.
but next year is I turn 30. And so then Ben will be 2 at the time.
Look at
So,
that planning. I'm laughing so hard. I can't wait for us to
oh.
listen to this when you're actually 30 and life's just not done what we thought.
I know. I'm sure it won't probably get like I
That's
mean,
a
I
great
already have
feeling.
Ben's first birthday
Yes,
planned.
that's
So
awesome.
okay.
If you're a repeat listener, then you guys know exactly who Bailey Henry is, the author of Having a Baby and Other Things I'm Bad At. She was on What the Fertility this past June, talking about her book, Living Life with Infertility, and now her new role as mom. So we really wanted to help Bailey on her goal to bring awareness to her book and sell as many books as possible in 2022. So Having a Baby and Other Things I'm Bad At is something that we really believe in. I read it in one sitting. It is the perfect read for anyone who has been touched by infertility, miscarriages, or the loss of a child. Starting with her own journey with infertility, Bailey Henry tells stories to provide hope in the darkness. Her raw honesty and lighthearted humor combined with real life situations make this a must read for anyone who has struggled. You can get your copy today on Amazon or Audible.
What will actually happen. But yes, our plan is then to transfer the next one when he is 2.
That's
So yeah,
awesome.
we'll see. But going back to that was like a whole tangent of like how it all happened. So basically, yeah, like we just matched on Facebook. We went through the legal side of it, and then we had to go through like the clinic side of she had to transfer like in, I guess, I don't know if it's just like paperwork or whatever they have to do, but just basically at the clinic, then it's now my embryos legally owned and it's not like hers anymore. So like
Yeah.
she couldn't do anything with them at that point.
Yes. And so then do you go, I know you did the transfer in Michigan at her clinic, but were you able to do all the pre stuff at your clinic?
So that was a nightmare.
Sounds like
So
it.
it really, honestly, it was, and it honestly is like, it gave me so much anxiety. So if you could find somewhere like more local, I highly recommend it because, like I said earlier, our clinic wouldn't do any monitoring here in Charlotte. So I had to like find people that were like private to be able to do, because you have to still get lab work done. I had to get all of these specific labs, and you had to do like certain shots, the certain days, and your lab work has to show something. And so if I didn't get it that specific like time frame, then like my transfer could have gotten postponed.
Yeah.
And like we are obviously going to a different state, so we had to get like an Airbnb. I mean, everything was already like planned out and booked.
But
So
even though that's probably like the most complicated situation of it, which is probably the most common, you still were able to do that in like 2 months, 3 months.
yes. So that is true. I still went through the process really fast. The good thing, obviously, with when it's matching through like a private, like through Facebook or anything like that, then you don't have like this wait list or a clinic that you're having to wait on to like have appointments. Like I was on my own timeline.
Which is
So
awesome.
I literally like within a solid week found a lawyer, got it all like written up, we also had to, part of like the clinic required you to do like a counseling session to make sure that you were like basically of sound mind to be able to adopt the embryos.
And you and Chris had to go through that, right?
Yes. So we both had to be on the call. And then they had to like basically send over their assessment over to the clinic to make sure that we like checked all the boxes and that we were fine to actually adopt the embryos.
I'm surprised you were able to do that all so fast.
I mean, honestly, I don't know how. It just everything just kept like working out, truly.
Yeah.
Like it just everything aligned with finding a lawyer. And then I also am like the type of person where if you don't answer me within like 24 hours, I'll keep emailing you. So
That's great. That's
which
great.
I don't know if it's a great thing, but they probably just were so annoyed and just wanted to get it done with.
So basically you have everything scheduled in Michigan. So then you guys flew up there, stayed in the Airbnb and transferred and then flew home?
So we drove because I was petrified to fly that
That
my
was my next question.
yes.
I don't blame you.
Yeah, so we drove. It was like 11 hours. And
Wow.
that was rough, but my in-laws came with us. They were so sweet. And
Oh,
they literally my father-in-law drove the whole time.
oh
And
my
yeah,
gosh.
they came with us. They stayed in the Airbnb. My mother-in-law like cooked me all these like soups and warming foods after the transfer. But yeah, so
Okay, that wins.
we drove because I was so scared that something would
That
happen.
makes me feel a little bit better about my baby moon we did last
Yeah.
month. We drove
Yes, you
eight,
drove.
9 hours, and like I didn't go, like I would have loved to go somewhere cooler than I mean, it was still great, but
Yeah.
I just was like, no.
Yeah. I was like, I've gotten to this point, and I know people fly. I mean, I
Oh
wound up
yeah.
flying later in my pregnancy, and it was totally
This is
fine.
just our brains. Yes.
Yes. It was like the only way I think for me to try and be able to control the situation that I was like, okay, if I'm driving, like I'm not going to be on an airplane, like
Uh-huh. I
all
can't say that's why it didn't work, or like for me, I was
exactly.
like, I can't even say like, okay, well, that's why I miscarried. Like, yeah, I just, anyways.
So we drove. And then which is so funny is like we had to like on the way back, especially like stop. I mean, because I was so nervous of blood clots and everything. And I know
Yeah.
it took 11 hours, but like I was like, I just had the transfer. So I made them stop like every hour and a half, 2 hours, so I could walk around. And then I had to do like the PIO shot in the
Oh
car.
gosh.
So that was fun because like it was specific time. But yeah, we drove. So
So
and now
you
I'm
get
to the point where
home.
I'm like every transfer I'm gonna drive to
Well,
Michigan
like
and
it was your very first IVF transfer, even though you had done numerous egg retrievals and
uh,
stuff. When did you test?
5 days after.
5 days, yeah.
Yes, which was like I honestly, if I probably wanted to test like the next day, and I know obviously it doesn't work like that, but I literally would have tested probably at 4 days. I on the fifth day, this was my fault. I was gonna tell myself wait till the 7 days, but then I went to Target and I saw a pregnancy test, so I was like, let me just buy it, but I'll like hold on to
You
it. Yeah,
just saw
okay.
the pregnancy test. You didn't
I
just
know,
like
right?
randomly
I
ended up
just
in the
stumbled
aisle.
across it. Okay, yeah, bullshit.
That's such a unique aisle to be on.
Right? Oh yeah, I'm just down here for fun. But no, but then even worse, I literally was like in the car and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, well, I have the test. I'll just like go home. I'll just put it away and I'll wait till day 7. Sorry. Um, but yeah, no, there was no way. The minute that it was in my hand and I was home, I tested instantly.
I know. I tested 4 days after my transfer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you get it. I feel like everyone, I mean, you have to have some willpower to wait till beta because I cannot do it.
I don't know how the girls do it that do it. That's awesome though. Gosh, like what a story. I mean, you
So
make it sound
crazy.
like very seamless, which it could be.
Yeah.
Do you get a
Yeah.
beta drawn at these private clinics or
Yeah. So I also I'm very thankful because my OBGYN, I'm obsessed with her. So, which now moving forward, I know, which I didn't even think of. And I don't know if everyone's OB would do this, but she told me she would do my monitoring for me,
that's awesome.
like going through the transfer process. So for the next one, she's gonna do it.
Yeah.
But I did reach out to her, but I did for the first beta, I did one of the private ones. The only thing that's hard with that is that insurance doesn't cover some things.
Uh-huh.
Um, so it kind of can get expensive fast. But yeah, so I did the monitoring with her, my OB, and then I went every single week.
You
which
told me that, yeah, because I thought I was so cool going. I guess I kind of went every week until 9 weeks, and then I got
yeah,
pushed out.
yeah. So I literally had, I had 3 betas. I think it was
Yeah,
3.
yeah, that's what they
I
told me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did 3 betas, and then after that, I was getting scanned every single literally every single week,
awesome.
which was really nice, but, I will say, obviously, my story, and I know this was kind of like a quick overall, or just, like, overview of the whole thing, but it isn't always this, like, easy and seamless, so I don't want you, like, be, like, discouraged if this doesn't happen this way. We're very grateful that we did, like, get a family that like, reached out to us and it just all worked out. Um, so don't be discouraged if you are on that waiting list for the clinic. Like I said, I'm walking kind of through this with somebody else, just kind of sharing our journey with them and hopefully helping. Benjamin, are you talking?
You talking? We're talking
Um,
about you, so I guess you can talk.
Yeah. So we have a little visitor who just popped in. He just woke up. But it, it may not be like that for everyone. And so I don't want you to get discouraged if you are on that 2 year waiting list. But definitely reach out. Like I think take advantage of the community that, there is in fertility and IVF and just everything that social media has to offer.
Yeah, I
So
mean, and I
definitely.
like, yeah, and I mean, you say it's easy, but it was so hard. I mean, you pushed
Oh,
through and through,
yes.
and I know we're not going to really talk about traditional adoption on this episode, but it's the same thing. You feel like you're running an absolute marathon, and everything's hard, and it's just roadblock after roadblock after roadblock, but it does work out, and there's so many stories of it working out.
Yes, like I mean, I had so many times that we just cried and going through the process, like figuring out lawyers and just don't give up. Like I know that sounds so cliche, but it's so worth it. All the sleepless nights to make sure all the paperwork is done as quick as I can because I knew how bad I wanted this little
Yeah.
boy right here.
That's
So
so awesome. Well, obviously we'll like share everything in the show notes and I guess we'll air this. Gosh, we're recording on July 1st, so we'll probably air this one on Monday and then our next one will be with Dr. Gregory about, the overturn of Roe versus
yeah.
Wade. So we'll definitely, if you guys listen to this on Monday, we'll put something out on Instagram with like questions that you guys want to ask her. She's an absolute open book. She's a firecracker. We might have to do a little bit of like what of like bowling lane like barriers on her a little bit, but
Okay.
we'll put something out so you guys can ask a ton of questions.
And also let us know, like, if you like this, just Kat and I talking too, because obviously we love having our guest on and we love being able to talk about different topics. But if there's anything ever that you want just Kat and I to talk about, let us know, because, Kat and I love to just
Yeah,
hang out and
we
chat too.
definitely, I know, and we're definitely planning on doing a season 2. So we're gonna like kind of revamp some stuff. This was definitely a passion project. We just
Yep.
kind of we like ran with it and it started going really fast. Mondays came way faster than I thought they would. So we had just been really heavy on the guests, but I think we'll start sprinkling in some episodes of Amanda and I, especially when we get into season 2.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys, and we will talk to you next week.